Good morning. I'm going to try something different. It's going to be something that I may do once a week, like on a Wednesday, hump day. You have to let me know what you think, like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't know if YouTube does that anymore. Subscribe if you like it, with the notification bell, and I'm going to try to put a link to what I'm using in the description box. Don't know if it'll actually take you anywhere. If it doesn't, enough will be there that you could copy that and take it to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever you buy books, because I'm starting with Brian Froud. Okay, I don't know if you can see this book or not. Okay, so my interest in this book started when Brian Froud was a part of developing the children or family movie The Dark Crystal, and my family loved it. We have it, watch it every once in a while, well, at least once a year. And so when I was homeschooling and we were doing some artwork stuff, found like the Brian Froud Squashed Fairy books, Lady Coddington's Squashed Fairies is the correct title of that. And we got a kick out of that. And then in my search for more Brian Froud stuff, I came upon this, which comes with this deck of cards here. And each of them has a picture that was painted by Brian Froud. And I like to sit and just read what these cards are depicting, because some of it is pretty profound and makes you think about things you might be going through in life, or things that are in the news, or just something that you wonder about. And the way that things are brought across with these just makes you think and have a discussion with somebody else that might be thinking about the same thing. I know that sounds confusing, but that is what it is. And so what I'm going to do is, instead of doing like a card reader type thing, which I'm not, you know, I've been in love with this book for 25 years and these cards for 25 years, but in no way am I that kind of intuition and like that I could sit down and, you know, people come to me and I read cards and tell them what's going to happen in their life. I'm not gifted that way. What I do, if somebody looks at these cards and go, oh, this is cool, what's their reading like? I hand them the deck and I hand them the book and say, shuffle your own cards and look up the cards, because they have a number right up here at the top, and read that description that's in the book, and then take whatever that says and apply it to whatever you're considering in your life. So with the help of my favorite coffee cup, Eeyore, my favorite Winnie the Pooh character, I am going to read you literally from the book. I have 3 cards here. I don't know if I'll get 3 cards read, probably only 1 at a time, but we'll see. This is the Pook. Okay, so if you have any knowledge of like the leprechaun stories and things like that, you might have heard of the puka. And the puka is a changeling. And so, for the puka, this is about change shaper, good and bad and good, paradox and resolution. The pook is a shape changer. He appears in whatever guise he thinks will be most confusing to you, depending on his purpose. Brian, meaning Brian Froud, wrote, "He weaves spells to bemuse our senses and confuse our judgment. He is a master of the arts of illusion and delusion, holding up a distorting mirror to reveal the bad in the good and the good in the bad." The pook also wishes to show us the bad in what we think to be the good, and vice versa. This may confuse us further, or it may help us gain a more balanced understanding of how things really are. He is very against rigid mindsets, and in his own way encourages the development of inquiring minds. His true face? I'm not certain that a shape changer even has a true face, though he did hold still long enough for Brian to paint him. However, the pook, or puka, is very proud of the faces he assumes. With them, he offers us contradictions and paradoxes, and finds it all so easy to confuse our judgment because we are often not thinking very clearly anyway. Sometimes we even hold 2 or more contradictory beliefs in boxes in our minds. If one is true, we think when we finally consider them, then the other must be false. Not so. Perhaps both are false. Perhaps both are partly true and partly false. We tend to cling desperately to our beliefs, even when they make no sense to others or are counter to our actual experience. Our paradoxes and confusions are self-created, and the pook need only dress them up a little bit, add a little sparkle, dangle them before us in order to induce confusion. In that confusion, we are likely to believe almost anything someone represents to us and presents to us, just to feel as if we have a metaphorical anchor in reality. His challenge for us is to wake up, to stop projecting our confusions on reality. Once we have seen the truth, seeming contradictions and paradoxes melt away in the manner of realizing the solution to a Zen koan like, what is the sound of one hand flapping? What is the sound of one hand flapping, I ask you? When we get the answer, usually by a burst of insight, cutting through the confusion and paradoxes, it always seems so simple. We wonder how could we have been in such a tizzy about so simple a thing. We wonder why everyone doesn't understand that this is so very obvious. So, if I were a card reader, which I'm not, this would be representing that it's time for a resolution of seeming contradictions and paradoxes in a situation. That someone or some part of the situation is cloaked in confusion and our muddled thoughts must be stripped away, revealing the truth. We just need to think about it. And the information we need is now available to us. So as soon as we have the burst of insight and get it, ding, light bulb coming on, it's time for us to make changes based on our newly clear understanding. And give ourselves a reality check on the good and bad labels we put on things. Make a list of the good, possibly even surprising things about this situation, and another list of the bad ones. If you're not in the habit of seeing the good and the bad and the bad and the good, having preferred a black and white world rather than one with color, you might need some help learning to do this as well. Okay. So now if this is upside down, then it's about not having resolution. Recognizing the paradox that would help us get closer to that resolution, and that we need to gather more information. And the trick is to avoid becoming too bogged down by this. We need to get on with other aspects of our lives while acknowledging the difficulty of the situation. And if possible, we need to postpone related decisions and relax, knowing that the insight we need will come. We just can't rush it. In fact, trying to rush it usually makes things worse. So relax, wait, and stay alert. Okay. So I'm just going to read that one today. And you know what? The pook and resolutions, kind of appropriate for all the weird, crazy, angry, volatile situations that are going on in the world right now. I'm a person that believes that everyone should take a step back and look at all sides of all situations. Look at the facts, look at what is logical, take emotions out of it, and move forward. But that's just me. So anyway, let me know what you think of doing these readings, or I don't really want to call them readings, but having some fun with Brian Froud on Wednesdays, or books in general. So go outside and wiggle your toes in the dirt, my lovelies. Have a great rest of your week. Later.